Bismillah, in the name of Allah. This video is a response to an article that needs addressed. This article says gay man sues Bible publishers over homosexuality as a sin verse. They sued on grounds that homosexuality is not a good translation of the word in question. Now, the verse in Aramaic reads, أو لا يدين أنتم دا أولياء ملكوتا دا الله لا يرتين لا تأتؤون لا زنية ولا فلاخي فتكرية ولا جيرة ولا محبلي ولا شكابي أم تكرية. And that is, or not recognizers ye of the wicked ones, his kingdom within of God, not inheritors. So in that syntax it means you recognize that these wicked ones are not the inheritors of God's kingdom, not the wanderers, not the zinnis, which means the ones who commit zina, which is in the Quran, is mentioned in the Quran as zina, in the Hebrew Bible as zina, in the Aramaic Targums, even from the first century, as zina, and it means sexual immorality, harlotry, basically any sex that is outside of the confines of the law. That means those, sex with those who are not wives or concubines, lawful concubines. And so not those who commit sexual immoralities, and not the cultivators of idols, and not the adulterers, and no corrupters, and not layers with males. Those, there's a plural for lie with males. It's layers with, so I coined the term layers with males. And so they translate layers with males as homosexual. And in the article they also speak of this other Bible called the Queen James Bible. It's a LGBT or something spin-off of the King James version. And this Queen James Bible is really an abomination. It's supposed to be transgender friendly. Now the Bible and the New Testament and the Old Testament and the Quran all have a lot to say about proper gender roles and what makes one a male and what makes one a female. And this is built into the language. It is built into the Semitic languages, and it cannot and should not be ignored. And so this is my response. Homosexual is a fine translation. In 1 Corinthians 6:9, in this case, needs to be dismissed. The word in question, homosexual, in the verse, there are three words in the Aramaic. Shebakai am takriya, which is layers with men. In the sexual context, the Aramaic man, takra, is from the root delata kaf rush. And in Arabic, it is zel. There's a D with a dot on the top of it, and that makes Arabic del, which is equivalent to delata, turned into zel. And this is actually Syriac actually lost this form in some sense, but this is actually an older form from Akkadian and Ugarit that Arabic still maintains. But that is another subject. But, well, it's kind of another subject. But anyway, so the Arabic root would be zel, or would be zel kaf ra. The root means to ram with force. The Aramaic word for goat is taken from the same root. they have horns, and ram with force. The opposite to man in the scriptures is nikbata. This is in the New Testament. Woman, from the root nun, kof, bet. Arabic, nun, kof, bet. This root means to dig, to be pierce, to be pierced, to be hollow, a hole, drilled also in the sexual sense. Now let's look at the Quran, Surah Al-Qiyamah. A'udhu billahi min shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alam yakun nutfatta min maniyin yumna thumma kana al-kattin فخلق فأسوى فجل منه الزوجين الذكر وأنثى. And that is, was not he a drop from of semen emitted? Then he was a leech-like clot, then created, then proportioned, then made from of him the male and female, who made from the pair, made from the two. So proportion and made from the two. Zawajain. Zawaj is also the Aramaic word in the New Testament, which is used for pair and brought together and those kinds of things. And the ain, zawajain, it's a ya and a nun. This kind of plural where it's pronounced ain, that's a dual plural. Like Bahrain is in Arabic is two C's, and Nahrain in Aramaic is two rivers. So you get what I'm saying. And so zawajain el zakra wa untha. So created from the pairs, the male and the female. Untha being from Aramaic and tata, wife. Arabic el takra, meaning the man, the mate. Also in Arabic also maintains the Aramaic and Proto-Semitic meaning of rod, obviously regarding the male member, as well as Arabic nikba, maintaining the Aramaic Proto-Semitic meaning of burrow, as in burrow, a hole, drilling, piercing, excavation, delving into. But I'm not sure that in Arabic nikba is used for woman in the various Arabic dialects. Some Arabic dialects have more Aramaic in them than other ones. But anyway, you can see how these Semitic words are put together. You know, the roots. It's not just where we have sounds. It's like in English, the sound, each letter doesn't have a meaning. But in the Semitic language, each sound, each letter has a meaning of its own. And these meanings are used almost like in a mathematical or algebraic way to set up a word. So it's very coded language, very intricate. And so, moving on. So what are the roots telling us? Dhakar, men, are forceful. This root is masculinity. This root in masculinity becomes manifest when a man protects their honor, their women, their tribe, their value with force, and in the sexual act itself as he thrusts and rams. As to woman, nikba, women are passive in selecting a husband. Their passive nature and apparent distance allows them to select correctly. Women are physically built inward. In the sexual organ, they're built inward, and hollow, a womb. And to dig, Interestingly enough, the Quran, it talks about how husbands can go unto their wives as they please, and their wives are as a fertile field, as soil that that they'll dig and put their seed in. So the Quran is with its usage in other verses is very much in tune with ancient this ancient Semitic motif, and it should be, and it is, or theme, or whatever you'd like to call it. To dig nikbah is also nikbah is also befitting as an ancient Near Eastern culture where hold on a second. To dig nikbah is also befitting as an ancient Near Eastern culture where it is considered to be as a farmer's life-giving field, the man bearing his seed in her field, woman also being pierced in the sexual act versus man's ram and rod tekr, and also in the field, and also in their focus mentality is generally inward. The woman in biblical and in general ancient Near Eastern culture was also a symbol of inner understanding in women. In the Bible you have hikmah, in Arabic hikmah, Hebrew hikmah, sometimes we'll say hikmah in Aramaic, which is wisdom, and wisdom was often personified as a beautiful woman worthy of being pursued. And moving on. Thus, with a closer examination of the words, their root meaning, and why such words are ascribed to certain actions and things, it is proper to say that this verse in the context speaks to what gender as defined by God should be, as men and women are given titles befitting to their proper nature and their proper practice. Practice and nature in Aramaic are the same thing. So we're not going to get into a debate about, well, what is human nature? There's a right human nature in the Aramaic sense is practice, and there's a good nature and there's a bad nature. We're punished for the bad nature, rewarded for the good nature. Simple terms. Man is man because he was born with sexual equipment, which is as a rod, and to ram, and to pierce the woman, born with equipment to be drilled, to be dug into, delved into. These are gender roles rooted in the Aramaic language of Christ, and women are to be the passive partner, and men are to be the assertive partner. In ancient Near Eastern culture, even in some of the pagan societies, they had sodomy laws where it was disgraceful for a man to penetrate another man because in doing so he was lowering that man to the status of a woman. In that lowering, that he's supposed to be the assertive and he's been lowered to the passive role, which is not befitting to his biological nature to be the passive partner. And